Good evening. I'm Socrates Garrett, and we're broadcasting live from right here in Jackson, Mississippi, the heart of the Deep South, right here in the African-American-owned broadcasting studio. WeBelieveDigital.com, our own platform. And so it's critically important that in the African-American community, we control the narrative. I look forward to receiving opportunities to show and advertise your products for goods and services and to move your brand along in this community. We're broadcasting live on Facebook. When We Believe Digital Podcast, go to Roku and download our app, and We Believe Global, with shows like this to bring articulate, intelligent conversations and dialogue to our platform. So I'm here to continue sounding the alarm. This is how the South is going to rise again. Good evening, and welcome to Socrates Garrett Live. We're broadcasting live from right here in Jackson, Mississippi, in the heart of the Deep South. You know, Mississippi is my hometown. That's right, I call it a town, not a state. It's a hometown because we know one another. Most of us are related in one way or another. We have the highest number of mulattoes of any other state in the country, and that's because we have blended together in the great state of Mississippi. Then one would wonder, why is it that we just can't get along? And maybe that's the reason. You know, there's no other fight in the world worse than two brothers or two sisters fighting. Those are mean. And so we have a lot of those kind of fights going on in Mississippi. Now, we're broadcasting live in over 139 countries. You can watch us anywhere in the world, you know. You can watch us in China and Vietnam. You can watch us in Korea. You can watch us in anywhere in the world. To my guests out in Los Angeles, California, I know you haven't seen me on the broadcast in a while, but it's good to be back. I have some interesting guests with me tonight, and so this show is really an introductory show, and we're going to be dealing with new concepts and new ideas as we bring this forward. Now, you can call in at 800-492-5186. That's 800-492-5186. Or you can remote in as our guest. You know, we have the same technology that they're running on CNN, on YouTube, and Netflix. Quite frankly, We Believe Digital sits there on Roku TV between Netflix and Showtime, and we're proud of that. So we're being seen all over the world. Go to YouTube and watch us there and subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Instagram, subscribe there, and on Facebook and TikTok. So all of these platforms are carrying the content from We Believe Digital. We have over 2,000 videos, 2,000 shows in the archive over there, and our audience and subscribers are growing every day. We need your help. But now I want to get right into my guest today, Smoke D.
Hey, Mr. Sock, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, man, glad to be here.
Now, Smoke D is an interesting name. I don't know how one would get a name like that. So I want you to tell our listening audience a little bit about who you are, and we're going to have this open dialogue about things.
Okay. Well, where you want me to start, Mr. Socrates?
Well, you can start at the beginning.
At the beginning. Oh,
Where
man.
were you born? Who your family?
Okay, I was born in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
I moved back to Mississippi. My mother's from Hazelhurst, Mississippi.
Hazelhurst.
So I moved back to Mississippi at the age of 2. Spent a little time in Crystal Springs. Probably about the age of 14, 15, I moved to Jackson.
Okay.
And been here ever since.
All right. Well, we're going to get inside of Smoke D and where you got that name from and what you've been doing for the last 20, 30 years. And I'll get right back to you. But right now I want to go to my other guest that we have on our show, Miss Wu, Paloma Wu. And I asked you earlier before the broadcast started, how did you get a name like Wu? So tell our listening audience and our viewers a little bit about who you are and where you come from.
It's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Garrett, at the behest of Smoke, who I'm here for. And my name is Paloma Wu, and I'm half Asian, and that's where I get the Wu from.
Okay, okay. How long have you been in this part of the country?
10 years, sir.
10 years. How do you like it?
It's home.
It's home?
It's home. It's
you
where
you like our weather?
It gets real hot. The humidity is really hard.
Humidity is-
But it's just the humidity. I love the winters.
Okay.
I love the fall. But yeah, I have a daughter. She was 12 months. She was 12 weeks old when we came here, and she's 4th grade at JPS, and it's home. Yeah.
JPS, we'll talk a little bit about JPS a little bit, but I understand that you are a practicing attorney.
I am. I work at the Mississippi Center for Justice.
Tell us a little bit about the Mississippi Center for Justice.
So Mississippi Center for Justice is a homegrown civil rights law firm, and they do mostly direct services, meaning free legal services for people in Mississippi. That was one of the reasons why Smoke asked me to come here, to get out the word about what we do so that more people can, we can work with more and more people. But we're also movement building in Mississippi. We want to dismantle the structures that keep Mississippi, where it is, and allow people to just be the amazing people they are and build the amazing things they want to build without some of the things that bring us down structurally. So we're just, we have a coast office, we have an office in Indianola, 2 offices in Jackson, and we just try to show up when people ask us to show up. That's our main purpose.
Well, I know you stay busy because, there's a lot of things for you to deal with here, especially when we just had a hanging up on Delta State's campus. I won't get into that right now,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we'll talk about it. Smoke.
Yes, sir.
You are artists,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and you do a little bit in the entertainment world, I believe.
Yes, sir.
You have some actual recordings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
Again, where do you want me to start?
At the beginning. At the beginning.
Okay, I was.
How did you ever record and do you sing?
I harmonize. My wife does all the singing.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I met a group called UGK here in Jackson, right up the street from here. There was a club. I think it's a tool shop or something now, and it was called Club Underground. And so I met those guys at Club Underground, and from there, not to get into all the details intricately, from there, I ended up with a hit record after about 2.5 years of hanging with them, and that changed things for me. And came back here to Jackson. You know how we are. We still have this split mentality, and got in a little trouble and got some experience from it that I have a testimony for people that I like to come and share to keep
Okay.
them from, getting in trouble like I did. Didn't have a father figure. So, and to expound on it, I just did my first album. I released this album, and it's called A Book of Smoke. And what it is just a lineage from that group, because it is a legendary group. Have one of the top 200 selling albums in the history of the United States. It's been a constant now thing, because every song just happens in the now, for me. And I like doing the music, and I can use that to share the message broader.
When you say a song happens in the now, exactly what does that mean?
That means every day is different, and you go through things from day to day, and your value system changes, your mind changes. For me, as I got older, my value system changed, like I believe everyone should, but you don't know. And so you go from knowing to knowing that you don't know in your later age. And once you discover that you don't know, you kind of go and lean on God to just give you your steps as you go. And the things that you experience, it helps you to heal yourself, because you're getting a chance to stop people from doing, your younger children, to stop doing things that you did to take them through that same cycle that we always go through. So.
Well, Smoke, that testimony, I look forward to hearing that. Apparently, you've had some run-in with the law.
Yes, sir. I'm a 17-year returning citizen, Um, 20-year sentence here in Mississippi, 20-year sentence in Louisiana.
Okay. You were a pretty bad boy then.
I was a trusting fellow. I did some bad things, but in the world I come from, I guess I got caught up in that age where, you know, it went from rules and codes to no laws. Now they have no, you know, everybody's just shooting everybody. I just didn't have a father. I raised, you know, pretty much just did what I wanted to do from childhood up, you know.
Paloma, you as an attorney and with the Mississippi Centers for Justice, are you dealing with personalities like Smoke on a regular basis that have had some type of run-in with the law but are now a returning citizen and trying to reach back and teach and correct young folk to keep them from going down the same road that he went down? Do you see that a lot?
Where I work right now in life, I appreciate that Smoke said your values change. You don't know what you know as you keep growing, because I think I've had a similar experience as a lawyer. Like, so right now, you know, I consider Smoke and people who are returning citizens really as experts who need to teach lawyers what to focus on and how to be effective in whatever illegal endeavor we're trying to do. We're trying to sue the state over prison conditions, which, you know, I've done before. If you're trying to, you know, sue a county over, you know, the conditions of a juvenile detention center, like, if we're not talking to people who've lived those lives, who've been in there, a lot of times we're barking up the wrong tree. We're focusing on the wrong thing. And so I consider, you know, now in my career, I think maybe when I started, I was not as aware of things, and I thought of people more kind of as, okay, clients, and I know the legal stuff, and they have experience, and let's put it together. But I'm like, I actually just think I got a set of tools, and I try to be of use to people who have the experience and know how to, like, public safety issues. Smoke's the expert on how to deal with public safety, right? Like, how do you confront public safety issues? People
question.
like Smoke are the ones who have the actual experience to do that, where a lot of people don't, I think. Me certainly.
I think that, you know, you have to have the heart to be able to do it first and foremost, and, you know, to confront situations as far as it's just being able to think in the now, and also, you know, having, you know, people like yourself, Mr. Garrett, and Ms. Wu, that have other accessibilities and resources that can culminate with the experience of being in prison, because like y'all have, you know, you have the legal thing, Mr. Sarah, you're a great businessman. Me, I'm an expert at being locked up. See?
Hold that point right there. We are getting ready to go to a commercial break. For all of our viewers out there, we appreciate you tuning into this show. This is one of many shows that we're going to be bringing your way that are going to deal with some interesting topics and with some interesting personalities that you don't hear from every day. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this commercial.
Advertise on WeBelieve.global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
We're back. We're having a great show this afternoon. We're talking with Smoke and Paloma. We're talking about issues that confront our community every day. all of our viewers from all over the world. We appreciate you tuning into this program. We want you to subscribe. Go to Facebook and subscribe, Instagram and subscribe, as well as YouTube. On YouTube, you'll find us as We Believe Digital Podcast Show. So we need your support. We are a growing network every day. We're not just a page. We are a broadcast network. We can remote you in from anywhere in the world. You can call into our shows. And so we are a streaming service, just like Netflix and Showtime and everyone else. Just utilize this platform. That's why it's here for you. Locals, we need you to come in and schedule your own shows and your own conversations and your topics right here in the studio. Now, let me get back to our guests. Paloma, how did you meet Smoke?
Well, I don't know how we met.
I think that we met at we had what do you call them thing? Neighborhood a neighborhood block party. It was like, I don't know what the name of it was at that time in Tougaloo. Was that it? Or maybe it was at a conference.
This is I'm sorry. We should make up a story. We should do
We met doing the
get
work.
here tonight with him?
Smoke and I have been crossing paths for years, so it just makes me. Smoke was like, show up, and I was like, yes, sir.
Okay.
And so I think it's more that we met doing the work. I can't say that and be honest about it. We met doing the work, some sort of philanthropical work somewhere, helping people.
Okay, but you're not her client.
No, sir.
No.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Thank God.
So you don't have attorney-client privileges here, so
No.
we can ask you any questions.
Speak freely. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
all right. Tell us a little bit about your work that you're doing now in prisons. How you are speaking to inmates, and what is the goal, and how is that work going?
It's going good, but it's kind of slow sometimes because I am a returning citizen, so you have your road bumps there as far as going into the prisons. But, the times that I've been in, and I'm working with organizations to set something up, through grants to push this program. But what we're doing in there is going to the prisons, bringing tours. My wife sings. I'm known for doing the music, so we pretty much go into the prisons, do a concert. That brings a little freedom in that they won't get otherwise unless someone comes in there. And the plan is to get other artists that have been incarcerated or non-incarcerated to kind of go in there and promote hope and positivity to these guys, because, it's a hard thing when you're in a place like that and you don't have any love coming from your home.
What makes it hard other than no one wants to be incarcerated where they can't get up and leave and go when they get ready? But besides from that, what is it a dangerous environment for you to survive in?
Yes, it's a very dangerous environment, and I guess, I can only speak to myself about it. I just, first of all, thank God for blessing me with some size.
Yeah, you are a big guy.
Yeah. And secondly, blessing me with the capability to think.
Okay.
You have to line, something simple as line. It's problems looking for problems all the time. Even the ones that don't want no problems come up. And so it's more of a psychological mind-stilling thing, if you will, because it's geared to change you and transform your mentality. You're in a micro society of men. So the testosterone levels, is that the right word? Testosterone levels are very high. The rules are different, and you just become naturally aggressive. And
So they say that you can be a fairly decent individual, and I've seen a lot of shows where guys get wrongfully incarcerated and then become criminals after they get in there.
Right.
They wasn't a criminal before they went, but that environment creates criminals.
Yes, it's a condition. It's a conditioning thing. I don't know what's the science of Alvin Pavlov, where you got the dog and ring the bell and they correlated the food. It's like that, and for me, I had to go back the second time. Thank God, I'll explain that later. But to recognize what was going on in my mind psychologically, after you're there 2 years, your mind pretty much lets go of the outside, and you have no choice to focus on the inside. I mean, the first couple of days, there's food you think you're not going to eat. When you get hungry, you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
You see, there's things that they do. They blink the lights 2 times. It means this. They blink them 1 time. It means this. And so they pretty much find a way to talk to you with signals. Just not even talking like cows or herds of cows or something. So it's like that. You know, it's a lot of things that you have to deal with. And, I mean, the only thing that I could see that would actually help a person in a place like that, because it's so hard to deal with, is learn the power of words and get a strong foundation with God.
When we first met, you were talking to me a little bit about the conditions there, and you said something about even when you're on the commode, you have to be in a certain posture.
Yeah.
Explain to our viewers what were you describing there.
For me, and this is my own personal analysis of being there, like you have what you call an inmate, a convict, and then you have somebody that's a seeker. And so the inmate is the type of person that lets the time do them. They go borrow stuff, or they'll end up, in bad position, compromising positions, because they letting the time do them. They don't know they ain't locked up and all of that stuff. But then a convict, he knows how to do the time. He knows how to get along with everybody, but he's still involved in all of the activity there, but more so an experienced inmate, And then you have a seeker, somebody that knows how to seclude themselves in a crowd of people and start learning. And, they mostly going to catch them in a book all the time. And, I'm glad I picked up that skill set from a gentleman named Adolph Bryant from Houston, Texas. I didn't know. And so God just kind of put him there, and he gave me a few rules. And once it got on automatic, I was able to think and get through stuff myself by just existing and keeping my integrity, learning words to understand what things mean so I could communicate better. And there I had a Bible, a thesaurus. I did music. I had a rhyming dictionary, and any book that was a realistic book based on outside life, and that caused me to grow mentally.
Wow. Wow, I tell you, we could have a conversation for days about what you've learned and how, as a man, you've matriculated, from inmate to convict to secrets. Those things apply to everyday life as well. And we're going to come back and talk to that, but I want to move to Paloma a little bit. I said jokingly to you earlier that there was a hanging on Delta State's campus of a young African American. Is that the kind of thing that the Centers for Justice would be involved in, looking into that, investigating that? Or what are some of the high-profile cases you guys deal with?
I want to answer your question, and it's going to be like a really annoying lawyer thing where I say, we're not involved in the case with the young man. We do work with some organizers who've been in touch with the family, and we're sort of taking the lead from the organizers who on the ground who we work with. With regards to the cases, we do this is a similar case. It's not completely the same, but we do represent the FedEx worker, DeMonterio Gibson, who was trying to deliver packages in his FedEx vest, and he was fired upon by 2 white men who came out of their homes and then tried to run him down with a car when he tried to get away. So we represent him in an affirmative sort of personal injury lawsuit against them. But mainly for civil rights, we sue the government, we sue the state, we sue counties, we sue cities on behalf of people. So we do voting rights. People, if we think the Voting Rights Act has been violated, meaning like black people are not getting one person, one vote, they're either getting, smushed into, a single district, so more of their votes are getting counted less, or things like that. We just won a redistricting case recently. We've challenged the felony disenfranchisement system, lost, but that fight's not over. We're going to keep fighting. We do work with lots of First Amendment cases. So we represent protest groups like HB 1020. We had 2 separate lawsuits, one state, one federal. One struck down the appointment of judges in Hinds County. And then one, we got a preliminary injunction against state law that would have made it more difficult for people to protest specifically against the state, outside of the state. They would have had to get 2 permits instead of 1. So we do just like a range where we just got a preliminary injunction against the anti-DEI legislation that was trying to say that if schools at K through 12 or college want to raise awareness about issues, including race or gender in the classroom, that they're not allowed to do that, essentially. So that we got a preliminary injunction against that. The state's appealing now. Do kind of like a wide range, represent students.
Okay,
Like that.
so you more on the constitutional side
Yes, sir.
than
Yeah.
on criminal defense side and things of that nature.
So yes, with the exception that we run a statewide protester support network, and what ended up happening during 2020 after George Floyd's murder was the protesters started getting arrested, and they still do, so in violation of their constitutional rights. So it just, doing constitutional litigation wasn't enough. You have your people, right? They're in jail. Like, you can't wait 2 years and then file a lawsuit against them saying, people are going to lose their houses, their jobs, their kids, everything. So we started doing criminal defense of protesters. So we do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how old is the organization?
Over 20 years old, sir.
20 years old. So it's a young organization considering the history of SCLC or NAACP, those organizations. So it's fairly young.
I think it's fair. I think it's fairly young. I think as far as like saturation into like the communities in Mississippi, we have 1 or 2 generations of people who know they can pick up the phone and call us.
Do you work closely with the NAACP and that group?
We most recently represented them in this redistricting lawsuit, and
No, you represented the NAACP.
they were a plaintiff in one of these lawsuits among many organizations that were representing them. So we were one of the lawyers. They were stacked, lots of
Okay,
lawyers.
okay.
We were one of the organizations.
Okay.
Along with
Okay.
ACLU and some other folks, yeah.
So what's a typical day like for you?
Oh, I mean, it's a real mix. I mean, and trying to show up for, Smoke wants us to do voting work at some point in the prisons. We're going to try to, collaborate with him. He's doing groundbreaking stuff going into the prisons specifically. That has not, we didn't, previous commissioners, Fisher, Police Hall, nobody could get in there, that had direct experience. So we're trying to maybe, hook up and do voting rights stuff. We've done voter registration in prisons along with Mississippi Reentry, some other folks. So I do direct stuff like that, which is some of my favorite work. And then we do court stuff. So,
Okay.
which is, you're writing papers and doing legal research and stuff like that.
Okay. Very interesting. Very
Mr. Sock,
interesting.
I'd like to ask Ms. Paloma Wu a question. For the common people out there that don't know much about law, can you explain to them in layman terms what DEI means, what that law means?
Oh man, it's such a good question. I don't know how we're. How high? Look at this. Can I like you were talking about pontificating. Can I pontificate a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So, like, structural racism is so ingrained in everything that when people started trying to confront it, I think of some people as needing a roadmap for how to do that because they didn't know how not to discriminate because it's just like fish in water. So people started creating these roadmaps in the last 10 years saying, well, are you using hiring criteria that you think is race neutral but actually discriminates? Are you think your curriculum with 20 white authors is not, you don't think it's racially discriminatory, but can you take a breath and look at what kind of authors you're representing and see if you're actually missing a lot of the best authors that have written in the United States, in the American literature, because you're just doing taking the canon that's always been done. So that started to be called diversity, equity, and inclusion. that sort of roadmap approach to getting institutions to take a breath and do right when they have historically done wrong. Because trainings weren't doing it, right? This idea that you need to look deeper. So that started getting called diversity, equity, inclusion. And then, political change happened. The pendulum swung the other direction against this idea that we have to actually structurally address racism. Pendulum swung the other direction, and then politicians started going after these programs that were called diversity, equity, inclusion. So they're currently trying to outlaw. And in Mississippi's anti-DEI law was extraordinary in that it created penalties that outside people could sue in chancery court for the violation of this law that said you can't teach all of these things in the classroom. Extraordinarily, rabidly, just a brutal idea about trying to take ideas away from public education. The ideas being that, racism has shaped America and that we should treat people equally. So diversity and equity inclusion was a tool to try to make institutions less racist. Anti-DEI is the campaign by the people politically in power to try to root out our attempts at making institutions less racist. And in the process of doing that, they're actually just excavating all of the worst parts of white supremacy and trying to reinstall all of them. Don't talk about race, don't talk about gender. Well, what are we talking about then? We're talking about white people.
Yeah, if you don't talk about it, the numbers themselves will show what how inclusive you are, right?
It's like people, and those kinds of, in my view, and everybody will, let me just say, I'm talking about what I think, other people will say it differently. In my view, the goal was never DEI. DEI is the tool that we realize that people need in order to look at a curriculum, and they need to be mindful about it. Like a lot of people in JPS, we're not having that problem because we have people who have personal experience, and they're not going to exclude that. They're going to celebrate Black History Month. A lot of other places, they need that kind of stuff. I mean, we still need DEI because we need to talk about history of Mississippi particularly. But so DEI is a tool to try to make institutions less racist. The current administration, political everywhere, especially Mississippi, going after that tool and trying to root it out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we've sued to try to stop the law that said rooting out DEI all over the school is against the law.
Wow. Well, we're coming to the end of this evening's show. I hope you've enjoyed the dialogue and the conversations. You heard it here at We Believe Digital Broadcast Studios. You can look forward to Smoke's show that's going to be coming on as soon as he works out all of the details. We look forward to having him here with his regular show talking about those things that he has experienced in his life. He said to me once that, we get to listen to a song, and in the song we hear what it took a person a lifetime to learn. We get to listen to that in 3 minutes. And so this information is so valuable, and we're going to bring it to our viewers all over the world. Smoke, any closing remarks that you want to share with our viewers out there?
Yes, sir. We're setting up this prison reform podcast here along with Ms. Paloma Wu and her extreme colleagues, and we would like for you all to call in. We know that a lot of people people that's going to be incarcerated, and that are coming out of incarceration, and we want to provide situations so when you guys come home, you'll have something to come home to, and you'll have information that's pertinent to existing, having intervention programs to keep children from going in. We'll answer questions, legal questions, if you have legal questions. Ms. Paloma Wu will take care of that part. We're going to have the show interactive, and we're going to set it up, and I'm going to kind of be a tour guide through prison, if you will, to give you interesting thoughts and how to think about things. And we're going to invite everybody. We just got to come together and figure some things out that's gonna help lives be better, especially for the people that are incarcerated. It's a horrible situation in there. I've lived it myself, and just knowing for me to have Mr. Socrates and Ms. Paloma Wu to be interested in this is just something to help. And thank you for listening.
Paloma, any parting shots you got?
I'm so excited to be a part of what you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, again, this brings us to the end of our show for this evening. We appreciate your viewing. We know that you could be doing anything that you want to, but you're viewing here what we believe digital. This is the end of our show for this evening. We want you to stay safe and good night.
Good night.